All right. So when I was mentioning everything, did anything like stick out to you? Any belief come in your head?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Well, honestly, the first thing I thought was Jesus, because I definitely grew up as a Christian, but I think recently, well, not recently, but towards my college years, I started to kind of
do that.
Started to realize what is God to me, not versus of growing up in a church family. Like, I always believed in God, but I think he became more real to me as I began to search him myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's my belief.
So you had
in Jesus. Yeah.
In Jesus. You grew up Christian. You were raised in a Christian home.
Yes.
But then you felt like you always believed in him because of tradition.
Yeah.
But then once you went to college, you really did some searching, or?
Yeah, well, you know what? Okay, I don't want to say it was a tradition, because I always believed in God. But I think it's more when you go through seasons and go through, as you're growing up, it's like, oh shoot, like I'm in the real world now. Who do I actually fall onto when you're going through stuff?
Right.
And I think as a kid, you're not really going through anything. All you do, well, you
may think that you are, but then once you become an adult, maybe in hindsight, it's not that important.
Because as a kid, you kind of have your parents kind of paying for everything. You have the, I don't know, when you're in school.
Yeah, you're worried about homework, and
you have
relationships,
your group of friends. You have your friends to go to. But I think once in college, you're the responsibility is more reliant on you.
Right.
You have to supply your own needs, and sometimes you don't know where those needs are gonna come from. And then for me, like, I would just pray about it, like, most of the time. And I think, within those times of just like praying and like fasting and like relying on the word, like, it really has like gave me a peace and this grace, like honestly everything is gonna be okay, even though things are not going
okay at the moment.
At the moment. So that's so
okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm so annoyed with these flies.
Me too. Yeah, it's even worse when you're sitting down, like, because they just know where you're at.
Yeah, I was thinking when I was sitting at the waterfall, I'm like, why are they like swarming around me? I'm not dirty.
They're angry here for some reason. Yeah.
Oh, well, they need to appreciate their home. They have a huge home. Yeah. Look at this nature.
They should be chill.
They should be chill.
So I'm curious, like, you came to a stronger, your belief in God, the Christian God, became stronger in college. And it sounds like it was because when you would pray for things, those things would happen for you. In some form?
In some form. Sometimes the prayer may not go exactly the way I want it, but I think, according to his word, I have to just trust of what, he knows best. And I have to just trust that, whatever his plans are is definitely going to be perfect for me, and his timing is going to be perfect whenever he blesses me with that prayer that I asked for, you know, or even if I don't get it, I have to realize, like, okay, well, maybe that wasn't meant for me. And I think, there's just been a lot of, like, even when it's not necessarily a gift, it's like, even like with certain relationships and friendships and, or just way of life, like, I just think, like, prayer is so, like, important, because I'm sorry, these flies are I'm about to fight.
It's hard. It's hard to not pay attention to them. Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's me with knowing that he should be first always whenever I'm going through a situation, or whenever basically when I'm going through something, like, I feel like I should go to him first instead of making it a last resort. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, instead of, like, going to all your friends first and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, if they don't have the answer.
Once you're down at the bottom of the barrel.
And then I'm like, no, that's definitely not right at all for me, Like, I need to go to the source first.
Right.
And the source is Jesus for me. So that's, like, a lot what I've been learning actually recently this past year too. So
okay.
Yeah.
So it is your belief. I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
On a scale of 0 to 100%, how confident are you that this God exists?
You know what? It's funny. I was watching this YouTuber by Andrew Kirby. I don't know what his beliefs are, but the main topic of this YouTube was him talking about like how to, I guess, achieve certain tasks, because I feel like we want to achieve these things, but most of the time like either falls through because we're not like fully committed. So then he said it's not because of procrastination, it's not because of us being lazy, it's because we don't have a full commitment or our beliefs it's not strong enough, the core.
So this is a belief for you that only works when it's 100%?
So for me, I realized, like, I asked this question, like, oh my God, do I fully believe in Jesus? Like, I mean, I say I do, but like, do I, like, is it to my core? Is it ingrained in me? So like, I think I had to reevaluate some things and kind of like take a step back and like just reevaluate like life. And then I'm just like, okay, well, I really need to search him and learn the history of God, not just the cookie cutter, like, what's the word? Things you want to hear, like the good stuff about the Bible.
Yeah.
Like the Bible is like more of it's a history book, you know? Yep. So,
it's very important book.
Yeah. So that's why, like, for me, I'm just trying to like relearn it from a historical point. And then I feel like once you're
still in that process?
Huh? I'm still in that process, you know? Yeah. And I think by learning it from that point, like, little things are being, I guess, revealed to me. I'm like, oh, shoot, like, there's, like, more Bible stories than Jonah than a whale, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or,
definitely.
like, you know, things like that. So, and I'm not, like, I'm like consistently studying like everything. I think it's more like I just take out like 30 to an hour every morning, you know.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. That's consistent in my opinion. It's most days, most mornings.
Yeah, it has been every morning. And I think
every morning.
Yeah, because I think it's not about the time, it's about creating some kind of consistency whenever you're being committed. And I think by me being committed to something, I think that's growing my core belief. So that goes back to the video that I was talking about. You know, how to truly believe something. I think it's about being consistent with something, and soon enough, when you keep practicing it, it's going to become ingrained in you. So,
wow, that's a lot.
So I know. I probably didn't expect this.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. So I don't want to keep you here for too long. I'll just have a couple more questions. I
bet this video is going to be like so funny because I'm like,
yeah, we're both just.
I know. Wow.
I'm curious about. Well, okay. Let me ask you something first. If this just has a certain amount of peanuts in it, I know you can't know, but if you had to guess, are there an even or odd amount of peanuts in here?
If I guess, right? Yeah. Can I have it?
Sure.
Do you know? But
I don't know, so I don't know how we'd have to count it. But
but then your hands are gonna be on it if you count it.
Yeah, you could count it.
Okay, I'll count it.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Can you like shake it? Let's see. According to the I'm just kidding.
The mass divided by the energy and the velocity of the.
Half of it's gone. It's about like 35%.
It's hard because of this.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's odd.
You're gonna say odd.
Because I
okay.
like odd things.
What if I said it was even? Would one of us be? Could both of us be right?
Whoa. I mean, I guess so, because there can be a half a peanut in there, and that can be considered
we don't
odd
know,
or even.
Yeah. What if hypothetically it's all whole peanuts, like
all whole peanuts?
Yeah.
And you saying if we both can be right?
Yeah, could we both be right?
This is a freaking trick question, huh?
No, it's a very honest, straightforward question. Some people think, I'll just tell you where it's leading. Like,
Okay.
some people think that, like, even if we counted them all up and, like, let's say you were right, they're odd, I could still say it's my truth that it's even. And I don't care about the reality in front of me. It's my truth that for whatever reason I've come to, and that's just as true as your truth.
Yeah, and
So.
I think that's okay. So that goes to this verse or not? It's well. It's
But
verse,
what do you think about that situation? Like, do you think hypothetically, if I said all that I would have a point, or do you think that
that is a great point? Because I think that's also the term. I'm pretty sure you heard this: living by faith and not by sight.
Okay.
So, that's a great point.
What is faith to you?
What is faith?
If I know it's hard to define, but if you could,
let me see. To faith is to trust and believe in something that is not necessarily visible.
Okay.
Like we have faith in air, that we can live off this air.
That's true.
You know, there's so many different ways of having faith.
Right. I mean,
but
air is one thing, maybe like.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Air is maybe one thing that we breathe in, and when it's windy, we can feel it and we can hear it. So it's verifiable by some of our senses, if not sight, right? You are talking about something that is maybe not verifiable by any of our senses. Is that what you're talking about when you refer to faith?
Yes, but the thing is though, like I think even God, experience, I think what brings me my belief is also like a testimony, like our testimony, like our people's stories,
personal experiences,
because like no one can't take away or justify or tell like that person, oh, your testimony is wrong, like
right.
you didn't experience it. No, like how are you gonna tell that person that, you know? So
no, those are always the most convincing things to me.
It's crazy
because like my grandma's she's really religious, and she, you know, we had a real intimate moment one time where I was, you know, struggling with should I believe this or not, and she gave me a testimony of hers that was like really powerful, and it had to do with my dad and all this kind of stuff. It was just and of course I believed her, but so going back to faith, you would describe it as something that is not, we can't really sense this thing, but we still believe in it. And why do you have faith? Like why do you have faith in a particular thing, I guess?
For me, it's just like, I cannot have faith. Like I cannot imagine myself not knowing what to give my cares to, not knowing what to do when I'm like at the last of it, and not knowing what to give thanks to, and just, I don't know. It's just, I think honestly, when like even just walking here or just sitting down at the waterfall, like I was just kind of by myself, and like I know the waterfall was not the craziest waterfall, but I still appreciate it. And I'm like, dang, this is like, it has to be a work of a higher power. Like the earth is a crazy, or in a good way. Like it's crazy. Right. It's built
complex.
Yeah. It's too beautiful. Yeah. It's too complex to understand, and only a higher power can, could create something like this.
Let me ask you something. This is an even tougher question.
Ooh, this is deep. I've never done an interview like this. Yeah, am I doing well?
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
I'm learning. Let's say you made a pie chart of your reasons for believing in the Christian God. So you have stuff like testimony, maybe the complexity of the world, maybe like the complexity of the world implying that there's an intelligent designer, and then maybe stuff like the Bible or something. Like what would you give each percent to? Like how much of your belief in God is based on like maybe personal experience? How much of it is based on like something more what's the word? It means to do with just something more related to an intelligent argument, or like an intellectual argument, like like the complexity of the world or something like that.
Right.
And how much of it is based on the Bible or maybe your parents' teachings to you or something.
Right. Definitely the Bible has like a huge percentage of that pie chart.
Okay.
'Cause to be honest, like, there's just like way too many stories in the Bible that are like, honestly, that's the cool thing about the Bible. Like it's even though it's written like, you know, years, centuries, whatever,
millennia
ago, like it's still relatable today. Like even like the event that we're having now, like we're wearing like these face coverings and stuff, like there was an event that happened in the Bible that these people had to wear like face coverings as well, you know. So like, and I mean, I heard this from a sermon, and then like I forgot what the verse was, or was the.
Do you remember why they were wearing the mask?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
but that sermon's online. Shout out to Stephen Furtick. He preached that message, and I don't go to that church, but Elevation Church is a super dope church.
Shout out,
guys.
yeah.
Shout out.
Okay, so a lot of it has to do with the Bible. How much percent? I know it's hard to guess that, but
yeah. Okay, so if the pie chart is, you know, full, it equals to 100%. I would say, man, that's tough, because I want to say 50 and more. Okay. You know, but I don't want to also discredit testimonies and give that a small
sliver. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but the Bible is such a huge. I gotta give the Bible at least like 60%.
60%,
because that's like, you know, the source that we go to. Like one of the ways we can learn about God all the time. Like is
right. Yeah.
So
it seems to be a cornerstone for a lot of people.
Exactly.
My last, where I want to end this is just. Have you heard about falsifiability, or things being falsifiable or unfalsifiable? Okay, so like. If you had a belief that there were an even amount of peanuts in here, the way that we would falsify that belief is to count it and see that there's actually an odd amount. If you had a belief that that face masks didn't matter, or that you wouldn't transmit corona without them, there's ways to test that belief. You could go out and see if you contract corona when you go to a party without a mask or something like that. There's a bunch of ways to find out. You could go on and on and on with different beliefs. Have you in your consistent studying of the Bible come across a verse that seems to bring down your confidence that this God is either exists or is good? Have you ever had a personal experience that would make you go away from God? What I'm really asking is that even possible? Is God something that is falsifiable to you?
Like if I can find evidence that goes against. Okay.
Yeah, because like what I was hearing, and sorry for talking so much, but
okay.
What I was hearing even before was that, you know, you would pray for things and it would happen for you in college, and that is part of what maybe cemented your faith and your belief in Him. But even when things didn't happen for you, you would think that there was a reason why it didn't happen.
Exactly. Okay.
Is there any kind of event that could have happened that would have made you think, what could be the reason for this, or what?
I think that just comes along with, you know, goes back to faith and just like trusting and lifting your hands and saying like, okay, this didn't happen. Maybe this event wasn't, you know, or whatever, that wasn't meant for me. And I think God doesn't promise for all of our prayers to be answered. It's more like
He has a plan for you.
He has a plan for you. God's not a genie. And I think a lot of people that are, you know, that don't really know Jesus like that, they'll kind of make fun of him or make fun of like Christians and say like, oh, your God didn't do this, or your God. Well, God is not, you know, a
wish granter.
Yeah, He's not a genie. And I think
does prayer do anything?
For me, this is
so what I'm asking is would God's plan for you still be the same if you never prayed?
Well, the thing is, when we're even before in our mother's womb, when we're already thought of, we're already planned for it.
Our whole lives?
Even before You know,
Okay,
when we're,
right.
I don't know, before, if he knew us, what's the term? He knew us before we were in our mother's wombs. So the fact that, you know, that was already said, he already had a plan for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are perfectly made in his image, and we both have a role to play and to fulfill his purpose. And I think that's just amazing how, like, you know, it's just so many people in this world, and we all have individual plans that's different from me and you know, and whoever's at this park, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and I agree. Everyone has a totally different destiny.
It may be similar. Like we may be. I'm a drummer. We may be.
You're a what?
I'm a drummer.
Me too.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a drummer.
Like for real. Like
For real.
Like
I drum.
Like
in a band,
but
not as a career.
Oh, okay.
But I do. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and drums are probably my main thing. And I've been on recordings and all that kind of stuff.
Crazy.
So.
I gotta get your Instagram.
Yeah,
or something.
definitely.
Yeah, I don't have Instagram on my phone right now, but I will be back on mid-September.
Oh, okay. You're just taking a little break.
A little break. Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't know if I answered the question, but I mean, I just.
Yeah, we all have different. We're both drummers, but we.
You may like rock, or may be a rock drummer. I may be, I don't know, the African drum. I don't know.
The African. Bongos. Whatever. Djembes. Okay, so that's a really interesting thought about maybe destiny and God's plan for everybody. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I've always struggled with, because I'm not supposed to really give my beliefs away in these kinds of things, but basically for most of my life I've been torn about whether or not to believe in God and all that kind of stuff, because like one side of my family was secular and atheist and the other side was very religious. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so I'm
that
still
must be tough, huh?
It was especially growing up, it was tough.
Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of found my place in doubt. Like I've been okay with not knowing things, I guess. But one thing that I've always struggled with is, like, if God knew, you know, before even my father was born, what my plan would be in life, and he knew everyone, you know, he knew what everyone was going to do. Mm-hmm. I don't see how heaven and hell is a really consistent concept in that model. Like, in my opinion, if that's the case, he's sending people either straight to heaven or straight to hell. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but remember,
what do you
that's
think
not
about
gonna,
that?
Yeah. Well, also, you know, Jesus, he gonna come back. The people in hell, like, they're not going to be there for long. He's going to come back and, you know, rescue his people, you know. And I don't know what that time is, but... I
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a thing in the Bible for sure. Like, when God comes back and reigns over the earth. Because think about it. Like, the earth, it's a fallen world. This is... Like, God is here for sure. But, you know, the story of Adam and Eve, when, you know, they ate the apple, blah, blah, blah. And, like, you know, the
Pandora's box, yeah. Uh-huh.
Right, you know, and... in the story, God is always going to have victory, even though there's all this craziness in this world. Like, God is going to come back and, you know, knock Satan out of his place, because Satan is doing his thing right now. Like, you know, and I mean, that's why a lot of weird things happen, because, you know, we living in a fallen world, you know.
Right.
God didn't promise us a pain-free life. He promised us, you know, grace and love, and that he'll be there through our trials, you know.
Okay.
And I think people get confused. So I get confused. I'm like, oh my God, like, why am I going through this? But the thing is, like, I just, even though, like, I'm going through something and I'm able to, like, vent to that. Like, now I'm trying to come at this concept whenever I'm going through that trial. I say, okay, God, I don't like what I'm going through. What do you want me to learn from this? So when this situation comes again, like, I don't know how to handle it, you know.
So everything's a learning experience.
Yeah. And
I'll end it on this question.
Yeah.
you understood the concept of falsifiability, right? Like we could falsify whether or not there was an even or odd
Yeah,
number.
yeah.
Different.
I never heard that word.
Different scientific hypotheses can be falsified or validated. If they're validated, they're true. If they're falsified, they're false. And I think I sort of talked over you at this point, which I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Is God falsifiable? In your opinion?
To honestly though, even when there's moments where I'm honest, like when I'm trying to like find ways around it, like, no, that's not, like, I feel like I can't. I really can't. And
Okay.
I just feel like I can't prove the Bible wrong.
Right.
I can't, like, and even when there's passages in the Bible where I don't fully understand why, how, like, I also have to remind myself, like, you know, if we fully understood things, we wouldn't need God, you know.
We definitely don't fully understand things.
Yeah.
There's so much we don't know.
Yeah, and we have to be okay with that. You know, it's like when you're growing up and your mom, you try to get that cookie, right? And your mom slaps you. You're like, well, I can't have that cookie. And your mom is just like, you can't have it. You
Yeah.
don't need to know. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I kind of see it as that analogy.
Okay.
Or they'll say, like, I said so. Because I said, you know what I mean? Like,
I know. I'd love to talk more, but I want
Yeah.
to have respect for your time. So
no,
I'm
yeah,
gonna end it here.
I don't have GPS. I don't even know where to get out.
I can show you could follow me out on Altadena Drive if you want, but
Okay.
basically you just have to go. Oh, hey Faith. Hi. You just have to go up and around. Hey, how'd you get down here?
I don't know. I was just like.